again because it's way too boring. But okay, so the goal is if I ask if you're computer literate, Travis is relatively computer literate, but it took him 51.14 seconds. Okay, and so if I say you're computer literate, is this a measure of computer literacy?
Yeah, because somebody who's not as computer literate would take more time than somebody who is more knowledgeable.
But what did he complain about?
His phone.
Yeah. So the interface that he's using, he knew how to change the background because once he figured out how to get his phone, and the key thing with using a phone over the remote control is go slow. If you try to go too fast, the computer, it'll send multiple signals down the wire and it will go slow, but you do the wrong thing. But if you go click, wait, click, wait, click, wait, that's how you use a phone. So do you think Travis could change the colors back faster than he changed the colors to the annoying Windows blue? Travis, do you think you can do it?
I think I can do it.
Okay. So now we're going to measure his behavior again, right? Get ready, go.
Having technical issues again.
You're on annotate.
I know. Get out of here. There we go. Which I
4. Is it popping up another window on your phone whenever you try to click in that corner? He muted. He's probably guessing.
Yeah, no. I was trying to press the home thing and I accidentally pressed mute. That's what's popping up.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so we'll stop. Okay, but so the is this measuring his computer literacy or is it measuring his the phone Zoom interface?
Phone Zoom interface.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're seeing that the environment has a much bigger effect on his behavior than his, quote, knowledge, his computer literacy, unquote. So how can I measure computer literacy if I don't have you sitting in front of a computer? Can you see a problem with behaviorism? I can ask you, how good are you with a computer? I just sent I sent this out to my stats course because we're going to be trying to get students into cohorts where we have some people who are really good with computers mixed with some people who are not so good with computers. And I just asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you using a computer? And some people score 1, some people score 10s. And all the people who score 10s, we're going to meet with them and give them a computer literacy test. Not literally a test, but just give them a series of tasks to do to see if they can do it. What behaviors mean that you're computer literate? I know it's not exciting, but this is what's relevant right now. What does it mean to be computer literate?
You can use a computer with relative ease.
No behavioral definition for easy. So what kind of things could we have someone do to demonstrate whether they're computer literate? Allison, just think of the first week of stats. unless you block that out.
So are my notes.
Just remember the first week of statistics, what do you have to be able to do?
You had to be able to understand what everything meant and also like be able to make a graph.
Okay, so the first assignment in stats is to make a graph with your name on it.
Yes. Even
That's
though
the
I was late to that class.
Yeah, I
schedule.
remember that. And
I
so
did.
you had to learn that while everybody else knew how to do that.
Yeah, basically.
And so one of the easiest things about computer literacy you have to know how to turn on the computer. Why do you have to learn how to turn on a computer?
In order to perform the task.
Before you can do anything on a computer, you need to know how to turn it on. Has anybody ever got a new Mac and can't find the power button? Stupid new Macs. My wife's Mac doesn't have a power button. It's got a little fingerprint thing. But that's also the power button. So you just put your finger on the little fingerprint thing and that turns the computer on or off. But when we're looking around for the power button, there is no power button. My stupid little Mac Mini here, where is the dang power button on this thing? There's no power button. It turns out, oops, almost knocked over my desk. There's a tiny little button way back here by the somewhere. You really can't see it, but there's a little tiny button hidden back there that turns it on and off. And the only way to find it is to feel around. Oh, there it is. It's not, you can't see it anywhere. You can't, there's no manual for this because it's a little silver box. How are you supposed to turn the damn thing on? But so it's funny, when we first got these, we had no idea how to work them. We had to look online on another computer to figure out how to turn the stupid thing on. It doesn't have a CD-ROM. It doesn't have anything. It's just a little silver box. What on Apple TV? Where's the settings on those? Or even better, anybody have one of those little Google Dot things? Little Google Dot or Alexa things? There's no buttons on them. How do you make it work?
Voice command.
Voice command. So it comes out of the box, understanding your voice. Sorry. Okay. So the whole idea is that this whole class, we're going to be spending time talking a lot about being able to break a task down to the elements. Even something as simple as anxiety. This is what a therapist will do. When you have anxiety, a therapist will start picking away at it and really trying to find exactly the stimulus events that are producing the anxiety. And a lot of times it comes down to childhood. Why would it come down to childhood?
That's where a lot of it developed.
That's where a lot of it develops. A lot of your behavior in your environment develops from your childhood. And it's funny because Freud talked about this for years. Freud said that your unconscious brain is deep inside and it bubbles and manifests itself later on. The behaviorists look at that and go, well, that's stupid. But we have something called conditioning. This is what we're going to be talking about first this semester, is conditioning. Conditioning is creating stimulus events. The more stimulus events that you have in your environment, the more they operate on your response events. Is anybody in here not like computers? Or well, not like, but you don't like them, Sarah? You're getting much better at them. But so if you sit down in front of a computer and start to feel nervous, what happens with the ability to deal with computers?
Blank.
Go blank.
Yeah.
Why do you go blank?
I don't know what to do, and then I get frustrated.
That's really quiet. But so If you go blank, that's because of the conditioning is you're going into a state what's called alarm.
Alarm?
Alarm.
Okay.
Okay, it's a state of alarm. Somebody mentioned right off the beginning the fight or flight response. I think Hallie did that. The fight or flight response is not a behavior, it's a reflex. When you produce this chemical called adrenaline, it causes your body to react. How you react to adrenaline is conditioned.
There are now like 4 of them. Isn't it like fight, flight, freeze, and fawn or something?
Fawn? I like that.
Yeah, I learned about it in therapy one time because I guess I had more fawn responses.
What is a fawn? Is a fawn mean you just kind of roll over and pretend you're dead, or?
No, it's kind of like when you are in a situation of like trouble, you try to like help the situation, or you try to help the people that are with you in the situation more than you focus on yourself.
Okay, yeah. So
I think.
yeah, I've never heard that before. But that would be what we call a coping mechanism. That would be a way of responding in order to manage to, it's like to deal with whatever particular anxiety there is. I much rather help other people than help myself. So I 100% agree with that. I mean, it's like if I have something to do, but someone else needs help, like our neighbor just texted me, he needs something. And I'm much more happy to help him do whatever he needs than for me to take care of the crap that I have to do. And it's just because maybe that when you help someone, it makes you feel better than dealing with the stress yourself. It's a displacement probably, but that's interesting. So, but I mean, I'm a good freezer when it comes to really stressful situations. And that's actually why I'm proud of myself for my fish hook removal, because I didn't freeze in the particular situation. I took care of it. And I did feel very nauseous afterwards. That was very exciting. It didn't hurt at all. Didn't even leave a mark, but I felt like really nauseous and lightheaded for a while from the adrenaline from it. So, which I highly recommend. Adrenaline's a great drug. Okay.
I have a quick question before we move forward. Sorry.
Okay.
So what would be another example of an instinct other than flight or fight?
Okay. So fight or flight is not an instinct. It's a reflex. The answer is humans don't really have many instincts. Are there many stimuli in the environment? There's one that some people believe are human instincts, because all humans in the world share them for the same environmental stimuli.
But what would be like an example of an instinct?
Well, the easiest example of an instinct in animals is like foraging behavior. How come it's very easy to predict what rats will do? They run on instinct. It's very easy to predict caterpillars. It's very easy to predict ants. They run on instinct. They don't have much consciousness and they don't run much in the world. Coyotes run on instinct. It's very easy to predict what coyotes will do. And most animals, you can easily predict what they'll do because they run on instincts. Humans, however, it's very hard to predict what they do because they don't necessarily run on instincts. Humans run on this interaction between the environment and our behavior. But I'll give you a hint of the only kind of human instinct that there are. What am I drawing?
Faces.
I'm drawing emotions. And just by changing the little lines that we have around our faces, that changes the way that you see these particular faces. Just the change in the shape of the mouth changes from happy to sad. Changing the emotion, changing the eyebrow location from anxious to angry. I don't know anybody whose eyebrows go wink when they're upset, but at the same time, is when you see someone looking scared, their eyebrows do kind of go up versus down. And those subtle things, do you have to train a baby to make happy faces versus frowny faces?
No.
No. Emotions are one of the things that the way that your body expresses emotions could be one of the things that are human instincts that do transmit across all cultures. A laugh in every single culture around the world sounds the same. It's the same short staccato like sound everywhere. We were in Australia when I was my son's age. My dad had a business trip to Australia, and it was only an extra couple $100 to have us tag along as my brother and I. So we said, he goes, "Do you want to go to Australia?" We're like, "Sure." And we got to go out and did a bunch of different cool stuff. But one of the things we did is we went to this place called Ayers Rock. It's the world's largest rock. It's a big rock. There's a bunch of these Aboriginal kids playing soccer, a soccer field. And if you close your eyes and you listen to them playing soccer, you couldn't tell that you were sitting in the middle of the outback of Australia. Because the way that the kids made noise and the emotions and the laughing and the getting angry at each other was exactly the same as the kids playing at the park near our house. Because the human emotion itself, this may be our only human instinct. Anybody know the disorder where humans don't express these emotions?
Autism.
Autism, that's right. So kids
Really
Yeah.
quick, sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to join on my phone and I need a passcode for the thing.
Oh, Cuyamaca, the passcode for your phone?
No, the passcode for your meeting room. It says I need a passcode.
Oh, if you're on your phone, well, let's see, if you're on your phone, hold on, let me go stopping the share real quick. On the passcode for the phone, hold on, is 166359.
Okay, thanks. I was trying Cuyamaca W161666359.
Yeah, for a telephone system, that's 166359. Cuyamaca_W is the one for the computer one. Now that I just broadcast that on YouTube, whatever. Okay.
It's okay. It's not working. So
It's okay. So haha, it won't work for you. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Well, I have to go to work. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt
Okay.
everybody. My bad.
No, but I got the recording going, so the last bit you'll get.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
No problem. Bye, Stephanie.
Bye.
Okay, so let me go back here. So the whole idea of this is that the only instincts that humans have are theoretically emotions. But it's not just the emotions, because we all react to the emotions differently, but our faces still react the same way. There's all sorts of really neat research on micro expressions. And that's actually one of the things that this was designed for, was to help you see your emotions without you realizing that you're feeling certain emotions. Some of you will start making scared faces. That's my brain scanner. Remember that we did in class? This is the new one that I got that it works pretty well. I just haven't had much of a chance to mess with it, but I'll be messing with it a lot this week. And as it gets hotter in here and I get sweatier, it works better because it makes better conduction to my head. Okay. But okay, so I want to go back because Allison, that was a perfect question. Is that when we try to take everything in this class, we have to narrow it down to our stimulus events. Narrow everything down to stimulus events. So what causes someone to be happy? Produce the happy emotion.
Feeling good?
Well, can you be happy and sad at the same time?
Yeah, bittersweet.
Bittersweet. When my mother-in-law passed away, she was dying very slowly of the old morphine drip death. So when she finally passed away, everybody's like, whew, that's over. And then we felt sad. But at the same time is that it's just an awful way to go. And so you kind of feel guilty for feeling happy that she finally died. But you're making all sorts of crazy emotions in your head. So maybe emotions are on the stimulus side, not on the behavior side. Maybe emotions are stimulus events. And maybe that's why they're not considered instincts, is because they're not necessarily response events, but they're actually stimuli. Do emotions change your behavior?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even the idea that humans have these instincts of emotions, emotions are more stimulus events, changes in the environment that cause changes in behavior. So then just if you start really thinking about this and you start understanding, wow, so when you're talking about things like grief or despair, does despair change your behavior? I don't know why I'm thinking about grief and despair. I'm looking at the little elephant. It's probably why. But does grief cause a change in behavior, or is grief the behavior change? I'm sorry, this is deep, man. What is the stimulus?
The event that caused the grief.
So, but once we talk about this idea of conditioning, once an event causes grief, what is the stimulus that's involved? The event or the actual grief?
Is it the event?
Okay, so now here's the answer for everything. I'm going to make this big so we can make it clear. Oops. This is the answer to all these questions. Nature to be commanded must be obeyed. Nature to be commanded must be obeyed. Okay. So what this means is that in order for you to understand the nature of something and understand the environment of something, you have to first, brace yourself, understand the environment of that thing. Nature to be commanded must be obeyed. So what this statement is really saying in order to change something, you have to understand it first. So when I ask stupid questions like, is grief a byproduct of something bad happening, or is it a stimulus itself? The answer is always going to be in this class, nature to be commanded must be obeyed. You have to understand the organism, the person, before you can answer that question. For some people, they live much more in the present. And therefore, the grief they're feeling right now is what they're focusing on, not the actual loss. Some people live in the past. Some people live in the future. I'd love to have my son's 14-year-old brain. His concern is defeating the next boss in Terraria. That's what he's doing right now. He's only got a week left to use his brand new fancy computer for goofing off, because as soon as school starts next week, he has to use it for school. Because you need 32 gigs of RAM to school. Okay, but everybody needs lots of RAM in order to go to school. So the thing is that if you understand the way that someone is, then you can change them. This is why a therapist will sit down and talk to you ad nauseum about who you are and your past and everything else, because they're trying to figure out your nature. Once they figure out the nature, then they can use your nature to try and help fix you, to try to cure what's wrong. Like Allison said earlier, it's being super busy is really good. Because the more busy you are, the less time you have to goof off and the more stuff you get done. I was very happy Saturday. I'm building a BMX bike. Why am I building a BMX bike? That's a stupid question. Obviously, everybody needs a BMX bike. But I want to learn how to jump over stuff. And the best bike to jump over stuff is a BMX bike. And trying to buy parts on Craigslist from BMX bikes is a very interesting delve into very sketchy people culture. I can meet you at 10 o'clock at the 7-Eleven. come alone. That's okay. I'll order it online. Thank you though. There's one poor guy I've been trying to get a wheel from forever. It's only $20. Yeah, I'll get it for you. Oh, I can't get it today. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow. And then a week later, hey, do you still want that wheel? I still got that wheel. I'm like, oh, just fine. Thanks, sir. And it's a lot of adults that ride BMX bikes are generally thrill seeker types and highly entertaining. I'm learning a lot from them actually, from jumping off of stuff, but we'll have to get there later in the semester. Hopefully I have GoPro footage of me riding it in the skate park coming off the ramp. I might take a few trips before I try, because my goal is to get up off the ramp and then turn in the air and then come back down. Yeah. I gotta make sure I stretch first before I do that, and maybe wear some pads. Or I could go with the tattooed stomach guy and just say, just peg it, dude. That's how he suggested I learn. It was 9 in the morning. He was drinking. I got that going for me. But he's kind of right though, because in order for you to do it, you have to be going as fast as you can. Otherwise, you won't make it. I prefer caution so far. But anyway, so if I want to learn how to do something crazy and stupid, like jump my BMX bike off the skate park ramps, which I do, what do I have to understand? What do I have to know?
You have to know like the consequences.
Oh, I know the consequences.
Mhm.
So that's,
The parts that you need in the bike.
yeah, I need to know, I know the parts that I need. I actually ordered the last 2 things that I need from Amazon. They should be here September 1st. I'm very excited. But I need to know how the bike is going to work when I jump off the ramp. I need to know the physics of it, what it's going to feel like. And when do I lean back? The hardest thing is when going off a ramp. Normally, if you don't want to die, you lean a little bit forward when you go off the ramp so the bike lands flat. But see, just a little bit, not too far forward, you land on your face, too far back, you land on your head. You just lean just a little bit forward to jump. But when you're going off the ramp and you want to jump and then come back down the ramp, you have to lean back really hard. And in my head, leaning back really hard on the top of a ramp means falling down on my head very hard. And because I study the brain, I do not want a concussion. I have a nice big helmet to wear, so I'm very excited about that. But in order to do it, you have to commit to it and completely lean back and go for it.
My brother almost cracked his head open because he did BMX for a while. And he almost went professional, but he decided that he didn't need anything because he was a teenager that's like, I'm indestructible. And he almost just straight up cracked his head open.
Yeah, the kid that was helping me out at the skate park last year was showing me basically you basically have to do what's called a manual off the top of the ramp, where you lean back and you jump, and it's like, but that's upside down. But it's not upside down because your momentum will turn you around, and then you want to head back down. So you have to have your body, if your body momentum. So he just said, he was showing me how to do it, and then he was riding a little bit later and completely ate it, and just like splat, and just like skidded on his face and his arms, and he's all bleeding, and he's like, oh well. I'm like, yeah, thanks for the help. But it's because the idea is that nature to be commanded must be obeyed. I need to get over my anxieties of doing it. I physically can probably do it. I do lots of exercises, and I do lots of jumping and twisting exercises when we work out. So I have the physical ability to do it. It's my consciousness that gets in the way of being able to do it. So in order to nature to be commanded must be obeyed, you have to understand what is the nature of the stimulus to the individual. So if I'm yelling at my dog to do something, so Maddie will try to train your dog to do something this semester. Each of us will try to train something to do something. Okay. And so the goal is like, Jesse, you're challenged to train one of your siblings to do something.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we will figure out something to do. Allison, you can train your parents to do something. I don't know. One of my students, Samantha, a couple years ago, trained her uncle to play Flappy Bird on the iPad. It was hilarious. The uncle was cussing left and right with this Filipino accent. What the fuck? And it was hilarious. But the goal of it is in order for you to train or teach anybody anything, you have to understand the nature. And that's why we're going to be spending a lot of the first part of this class talking about classical conditioning. Classical conditioning is all about the nature of the stimulus. It's all about the stimulus. I write SE, which is stimulus event. Because are your stimuli event in your nature?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody has a different stimulus events. Some of us, our stimulus events are very, very obvious. Other ones are much more subtle. You have to do a little bit of exploring. And that's what therapy is. Therapy is digging around in your stimulus events until you find one that causes a trigger. And then oh, there's one. And then we unpack it and try to destructure it so that you can understand what it is. All right. I have to run away. My TAs, Jesse, if you want to bop in on the next meeting, you can, if you don't have a class. But my TAs are we have some tasks for my TAs this semester so we can get that started. Okay. Sarah, did you look at the social psych course? Are you enrolled in that one already, or?
I haven't checked your email, so I'm gonna go check the email right now.
Okay.
What time is the meeting?
I was gonna meet at 11 if you have time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Same Zoom channel.
Willow.
Mic works, at least. It's spontaneous dog barking behavior. I love that. Our black lab used to do that constantly. Just all of a sudden, just in the middle of nowhere, barf! Everybody around was like, okay. My favorite thing is when she got old, she was barking at the voices in her head because there's nothing to bark at. She would just sit up and just start barking. Like in the middle of the night, she's barking at the wall. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Okay. I gotta stop recording. Okay. Stop. Stop. Yes. Okay. And my live